All the events in track and field aren't created equal, and unfortunately, the 200-meter dash is probably one of those. If you win the 100, you earn the right to call yourself the fastest woman in the world. But when you win the 200, it doesn't mean anywhere near as much if you didn't already win the 100. For that reason, Gabby Thomas is now an Olympic gold medalist, but not recognized as untouchable in the sprinting world. In fact, she helped organize the Atlos track and field event in New York City, which was basically a track and field all-star game, and at the meet that she basically designed all by herself. She lost the 200-meter dash to Brittany Brown. It is always surprising anytime an Olympic champion loses later during that same season in that event, but the 200-meter dash has been like that all the way through 2024. There's really no way to know who is going to cross the line in first in any of the high-level races that we've watched. Even Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone got in on the action, winning the 200-meter dash in Los Angeles in a race against Gabby Thomas herself, as well as Brittany Brown. But if you were paying very close attention, there was another woman on the starting line, and her name is Abby Steiner. There's absolutely no reason for me to pretend you don't know that Abby Steiner is one of the most recognizable names in sprinting. She won the NCAA championship in the 200-meter dash, going wire to wire in 2022, and then won the USA championship just a few weeks later and beat everybody, including Gabby Thomas, to pull it off. She later made a world championship final and won a gold medal running on the 4x4. But since that time, we haven't gotten used to seeing her in the front of the race. Of course, she has battled injuries from that point up until now, but once you win the USA championship, and do it while you are still a college athlete, you are supposed to be one of America's fastest women. We know that she has the talent to win because she's already done it and proven her versatility. But at the end of the day, Abby Steiner is a 200-meter runner, and unfortunately, that is the worst possible event that you can run right now, at least if your goal is to get on Team USA. Specifically on the women's side, America has so many fast 200-meter runners that we can't possibly send all of them to the games. But if we actually did, we could probably fill up an entire starting list with only American women and wouldn't really miss anybody else in the world, except maybe Julian Alfred and a healthy Shericka Jackson. So for an athlete like Abby Steiner, who's already made Team USA and made a world championship final and even gotten a relay medal, the only thing left for you to do is to get back to that level and come back with a medal individually. You can blame the injuries if you want to, but this is the sport of track and field, where everybody has a reason why they're not performing at their best. The fact is, the fans don't really care that much. When you step on the line, your reputation is on the line as well. If that were not the case, we would not acknowledge that Gabby Thomas was hurt in 2022 when Abby Steiner won her first USA championship. So at this moment, I would like to invite you in to a very real conversation about the state of the women's 200-meter dash, specifically if you are American, because there really isn't any other event like it at the moment, where making Team USA is even harder than getting a medal once you go against the rest of the world. And if you are a 200-meter specialist, like Abby Steiner, that is your real problem, because whether or not you're good enough to win a world championship medal, it really won't matter if they don't let you on the starting line first. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, the founder of SCArecruiting.com, where I rank the best track and field recruits across the entire nation. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. Before I go any further, I do need to point out that the 200-meter dash was not always like this. Of course, the world record belongs to Flojo, who does also happen to be American. But for decades, that record has looked untouchable, at least until Shericka Jackson got dangerously close in the last 2 years. For a long time, you didn't even have to break 22 seconds in that event in order to have a chance at walking away with a world-level medal at the end of the season. But the year 2024 brought us the perfect storm, where somebody was going to have to get left off of Team USA who had a pretty good shot at getting a medal. In fact, it was a whole lot of somebodies. In 2019, Brittany Brown won a silver medal at the World Championships in the 200-meter dash. And nobody really expected her to pull it off because she didn't even win the USA Championship that year. That was years after Allison Felix was running her best in that event. And just 2 years before, Gabby Thomas became a thing on the world stage. Yet Gabby herself won the Olympic trials back in 2021, and of course came back with the bronze medal from the games. And as I've already mentioned, she would get hurt the following year, opening the door for Abby Steiner, who was just leaving college at the moment to run faster than every other American woman. But Gabby wasn't the only one underperforming in 2022. Sha'Carri Richardson had a very rough season that year, so it does make a whole lot of sense that both of those women, who were also coincidentally American champions in the years prior, were able to get on the starting line and run faster than every other woman in the world in the 200-meter dash who was not named Shericka Jackson. They took Kayla White with them to that world championship, and Abby Steiner instead got fourth, just missing out on Team USA. Which brings us now to 2024, the year where everything collided, because Gabby Thomas, Sha'Carri Richardson, and Brittany Brown were all running fast by the time the Olympic trials came around. But Mackenzie Long was coming out of college, just like Abby Steiner did 2 years ago. And what I neglected to mention up until now, is that America has a whole bunch of other fast women who have been in the game since the last Olympics, who are all on the starting line in 2024. If you throw in Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone messing around with the event, along with the other fast ladies like Tamara Clark and Anavia Battle, the ones who made Team USA in the years prior, getting on this Olympic team was nearly impossible if you weren't talented enough to have a shot at getting a medal once you got to the games. At the end of the 2024 season, there were only 5 non-American women ranked inside the top 20 for the fastest times in the world. For the record, Shericka Jackson was number 20, and Julian Alfred was actually number 3. The only non-American woman ranked inside the top 6. And guess where Abby Steiner was? Ranked number 6, right behind Sha'Carri Richardson, as well as the 3 women who made the Olympic final anyway. To be real with you, as long as Gabby is running and happens to be healthy when the gun goes off, there's really only 2 spots left on Team USA in this generation. There's also 6 other women who have made Team USA at any point between the last Olympics and this one. Simply put, there was absolutely no way that Abby Steiner or anybody else was getting on that team without taking a spot away from someone who clearly deserves to be on it. Which also means that Olympic medal contenders were going to be left out. And this year, that happened to be both Abby Steiner and Sha'Carri Richardson. The only difference is that Sha'Carri actually has another event. When I look ahead at the next few years, I don't see America slowing down anytime soon. But I also don't see the World Championships, or the Olympics for that matter, changing their qualification rules. So if all the American women are determined to run this fast, specifically in the same event, they're also going to have to deal with the fact that some of them won't get rewarded for it. Because running fast enough to become an Olympic caliber athlete is no longer the problem for Abby Steiner. But making sure you can run fast enough during the one race that actually matters is the problem. Because apparently, the World Championship final is no longer the only moment that applies to. The same thing is true, perhaps even more so, at the USA Championships in the women's 200-meter dash. In the sport of track and field, race day is honestly the easy part, because all of the real work gets put in when nobody is watching. When you wear every day is training day gear, you can let the whole world know that your success in competition is not an accident. Order yours at scarecruiting.com/shop or use the link in the description below, and it always comes with free shipping. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.